Greetings, YouTubers, denizens of the tube. We welcome you. We come in peace. I really should get out more. Actually, no, what I should be doing is staying in more, because then I'll actually get on with stuff. The problem is I've been getting out more, and the pub on the way back from the tube station is a bit of a magnet for me of late. So I'm going to cut that out as much as I can, because it is basically the only place I go out to see my chums round here. Anyway, enough of that. Enough of this confession. Hi, my name's Gary, and enough of that. So I was going to show you a few things today, some tips perhaps that you may or may not find useful, but you're going to see them anyway. So I'll be doing that, and also I wanted to show you the more or less completed rocket troop. I say more or less completed because I have them on the bases. Well, you'll see anyway. Let's just get on with it, shall we? Response to a nice comment I got from Didge the other day when he said, "Is there nothing you can not make out of cardboard?" Well, here's something I just made very quickly yesterday. I got the idea from the terrain tutor Mel, where he made a PVA glue stand from Lego bricks. So what I've done is I've just made this very simple PVA glue stand so that the glue all rolls down to the bottom. You can see it's doing that now. I've just put the PVA in there because it's really flipping annoying when you're running short and it's all stuck at the top, or in this case, well, the bottom, but it's the top now. So I built this stand so that whenever I pick this glue up, it's all ready to go, and then when I've run out of glue I just refill it with a 5 litre container that I get from B&Q or Homebase or any of those big DIY stores, which saves you a lot of money in the end. And I just make a little paper funnel, stick it in the top there to transfer it between the two, because these little bottles are very, very handy for what we do. So you save a mint. It's a £5 for one of these, more or less, but it's also a £5 for the 5 litre one. So why not save your money and just keep topping it up from the bigger container. All the measurements across the bottom here, it's 10 centimetres. It's 10 centimetres square, basically. So all the measurements are 10 centimetres. And rather than me, I was going to put like a shelf here, so upwards and then across to sit it on, but I thought I'm going to be using different ones in here anyway. So just put a V shape to hold it in, because they're all going to be different sizes, different nozzles on the end. This is one with a applicator on it, so they're going to be different, but that will fit all sizes. There you go. Cost me absolutely nothing. Now, what I find great about the hobby channels that we watch and share is that somebody does something and you think, yeah, that's a good idea, but what I could do is use something like that to do something else. So it's about sharing tips and tricks. So a lot of this video is going to be about tips and tricks, plus an update on my Rocket Men and what I'm doing on top of that. Okay. Tip. Now, I don't know if some of you already do this, but I find it's a real pain every time you start a new batch of figures to prime them with the PVA. So what I've got is a small tub which arrived with a takeaway delivery, and that's quite airtight. So what I do is I'm using that to fill with a it's PVA glue and water. So I shall show you promptly what I want to do. You can see it's about half full at the moment, and what I want to do is dip the figures in there rather than painting them, which is, well, dipping the brush in the solution to make sure it gets all over the figures. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm just dipping them twice, so I'm just going to add some more water and PVA to here so I've got the right level. So it's awkward opening a bottle with, I've got my bottle of water that I keep in the loft, so I'm just going to add a bit more in there. And reaching for my PVA glue, which is now quite happily settled down at the bottom of the glue container, I'm going to put some of that in. And again, doing this one-handed, it's quite awkward. And you see it's right at the top of the bottle because it's been sat in the Dawlish patent PVA glue dispenser. So I'm just going to put a bit more in there, and that should be it. And let me just pause this. Now, as this is an airtight container, all I've got to do there is just give it a damn good shake. Of course, because it's been shook or shaken, there's loads of bubbles in there, so all I've got to do now is wait for the bubbles to settle down, and then I can dip the figure in there. So I'm just going to prepare a couple more figures while I'm waiting for that to happen, and then we'll be doing some dipping. Now, if you've got an airtight container like this, which I find is just the right size for my scale of figures, if you're doing 28mm you might want to have a slightly larger container, but this is perfect for my use. Got another spare one up there, and it also fits in with my philosophy of if you can do it for nothing or create something for nothing, then why not? You know, these cost me the price of the curry which we were going to eat anyway, and these would normally just end up in the recycling bin, so what the hell. So I'm just going to settle that down and get some more figures ready. Okay, that is now settled. All the bubbles have gone down, so all I do is dip the figure in there, let the excess run off, and then stand him up the other way so that it all runs down, and just carry on. Obviously it's far better for the kneeling figures, but you can tilt the container just so it gets everybody, and as you're dipping them twice it's gonna really do the job properly. And you can just use your brush to get the bits that don't quite fit into the water. So I've got all this lot to do, and it shouldn't take me that long to do. That took me a minute and a half to do this lot. One thing I would say though, these guys, these four here at the front, have all got very long rifles or the flagpole, so what I did have to do was actually get the brush out so that the legs got a covering. But apart from that, if I had a bigger container then obviously I wouldn't have to do that, but apart from that everybody else was just a quick dip, swizzle around, and they're ready to go. Once they're dried under this very nice warm lamp of mine, once this first layer has dried I'll just dip them in again and they should be fine. Okay, so it's about saving time. So I've already got my PVA solution ready mixed up, dip them in and away you go. So my next project that I've started is I bought a load of boxes from last year's Salute. I bought the Esquisse French Line Infantry, which was the first batch of troops I more or less did, so they were out of the way. I bought the Rocket Troops, which I've now just about done. So now I've started on the Scots Greys, which are the Esquisse Scots Greys, 12 figures, so enjoying doing them so far. So that's those over there, and I've got the horses over here. Now the other, I've got a few little guys virtually complete over there. The other problem I thought of the other day was that I seem to have quite a lot of allied units, and really they should be outnumbered by the French, so I started another batch of the Italeri French line infantry. So I'm going to rattle these off, and I may well start another batch of French as soon as those are done as well. I also have, if I can zoom in, I have some of the Devils and Skirts to finish, because I'm 12. Let me just shift that out of the way. I was 12 units short of a battalion. Now that's not the first time somebody said that about me. He's a few units short of a battalion, they can tell me. So when I've done those, that will be an entire battalion of the Gordon Highlanders. 42nd Regiment, is it? And there's some Frenchies up the top here, because I want to get 2 battalions of French done. So those are on the go, and that will be taking me some time, I think. But the plan is, and keep this very hush-hush, is the wife and kids are going away for their annual holiday in about 2 weeks' time. So I want to get all of these done and based, because then I can actually take over the living room and set up a battlefield down there, which I'm thinking will probably be a scaled down Waterloo type battle. So I'll use my farmhouse, which I've been doing a little bit more on, and I'll put some hedges out, and I will put some trees and some hills and see how I get on from there. So that's what I shall be doing. So that is my objective, to get this lot done in a fortnight and actually use some figures in a battle just about a year and a half after I started painting. So we shall see, let's hope so. Okay, so, oh yeah, one last point. I need to get my hair cut this weekend. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? So I will be getting my hair cut. Let me just get back to here. And there's been some dreadful ribbing of Von Ketteringham recently saying that he's a hairdresser, which of course is an absolute pack of lies. He's not a hairdresser. He's a stylist. Right. See you next time, guys. Okay, so going along the line. I might come out a bit actually, just so you get me in. So here we have the guy reaching down to fire the lower down rocket, and the guy reaching up to fire the upright rocket. He's got an upright rocket. No innuendo in this channel, remember. Innuendo free zone. It's my watchword. And again, next slot. And I've sort of put them in different positions on here, so each rocket has one man either getting out his telescope or putting away his telescope, and the other one is looking through the telescope to look at the target, see if they're falling in the right place, that sort of thing. A forlorn task with these. So they've all been put in different, I've mixed some of the figures up. I've got one guy carrying a rocket up right there, while you've got the guys holding a rocket across the stomach. And again, as we go along, and that's the last lot. So all those units are gone. Of course, that leaves 4 more guys and the 4 wagons, which I was so impressed with Mr. Sleepy Chippy's idea with his caissons and guns of putting another stand behind each figure. So each stand behind each figure, each base will have a wagon and a guy, and possibly a mounted officer as well, or I may just have one mounted officer on one of the stands. I do have another mounted officer on the go up here, and also I've started on the guys sitting in the carriage, which is here. So I was going to do those while I'm at it, because I really do like painting these figures, even though they're the Airfix equivalent. You can hardly tell the difference between the hat and the Airfix, so I shall be doing those as well. And I've done some guns for another British artillery unit. So there you go. I shall just zoom out and take you along the line again. There you go. Absolutely love painting these. Didn't take long at all. Well overdue. Don't know why I put it off for so long. Probably because I wanted to get enough infantry done at first. But yeah, very, very good guys to do indeed. So let me just do you a close-up of one of these bases. So here you go. Let me just do the twizzle. Very pleased to have, after a year and a half, I'm learning in this time how to do the lacing on these troops, because it really does show them off very nicely. And there's my scratch built, custom built ground based rocket launcher. Looks alright to me. So yeah, really enjoyed doing those, and I'd gladly do them again, but you can really only get away with one battery of rocket troops, really, can't you? Which is a shame, really. There you go. I'm not saying anything because they speak for themselves. There you have it. Bye for now, chaps.